I'm John Ryan. I live in Long Valley, New Jersey, which is about 50 miles west of New York City. And I've done some pretty stupid things in terms of long distance riding on a motorcycle. I've done Prudhoe Bay to Key West, the Arctic Ocean to Key West, Florida, a ride they call the Ultimate Coast to Coast. And I did that in 86 hours and 31 minutes. That's a record as far as I know. Done a few things. I grew up riding in and around New York City, so I'm used to riding in cities and traffic and congestion and things. I did a 1,200 plus mile day in New York City and Manhattan. I've done similar things in Washington, D.C., San Francisco, and Chicago.
So you're a regular Iron Butt participant then?
I do some of the rides. I rode in the rally once in 2005. Made a lot of bad mistakes, but I learned a lot along the way.
When did you ride from Prudhoe to Key West?
That was in June of 2009.
What was your motivation? What sparked it?
I think that's how it starts, especially when you get into a sort of a competitive community like the Iron Butt Association is to some extent. At some point you learn to push yourself and see what you can do, and you're always testing that, always looking for ways to improve, learn a little bit about endurance, some of it the hard way just by bad experiences out on the road. And always trying to get it better, always trying to get as close to perfect as you can. I have been sort of lifelong, not necessarily an insomniac, but I don't have any circadian rhythm. I tend to be up at night a lot and off all night. When I do sleep, I sleep for a couple hours at a time. So usually I'll ride for 22 to 24 hours and get one REM cycle to get a more complete rest, usually about 2 hours. And then I'm good for another 22 to 24 hours, or maybe even longer. So,
You ever had any doctors explain that to you, or?
I don't speak to my doctors about that kind of problems. You know, I have enough.
They'll tell you to quit riding, won't they?
Yes.
And you don't want to hear that, so.
That's never going to happen.
So how did you route out Prudhoe? I mean,
well, it's a well-known Iron Butt Association ride they call the Ultimate Coast to Coast from Prudhoe Bay to Key West. It's as far north and west to as far south and east as you can go on a road in North America. Quite a few people have done it. I think nearly 100 people have done and completed that ride, and they give you 30 days to certify it in order to get the certificate.
And as far as you know, you did it in the shortest time?
Yeah, that's pretty well documented, established in the shortest time. Yeah.
How close is the second fastest?
96 hours, 1 minute. That was that was the goal I set out to beat. I made a couple of mistakes. Missed a turn that cost me 120 miles on Interstate 40 in Tennessee. I got held up for an hour at one of the border crossings. So an absolutely perfect run, I think, could get that time down to about 83, 84. Well, maybe less. I had a lot of bad weather in the north, a lot of mud. Didn't really slow me down much, but probably could have gone a little faster in ideal conditions. So probably about 83 to 84 hours would be an absolutely perfect run on that.
Do I dare ask you what your average rolling speed was, or is that classified information until the statute of limitations wears off?
Well, if you do all the math, I think rolling speed, if you figure out, I think I slept about something like 8.5 hours. So that would get the rolling time down to about 78 hours. Times 5,600 miles means my rolling average was only about 75 miles an hour, maybe a little less than that. Which really isn't too bad, and I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Of course, you can make up for it in some places because it's going to slow you down in others. So as an average.
So as the average rider, we're sitting here listening to you, and you're already evaluating the past ride and figuring out where you can shave an hour or 92 minutes here or there. Anybody say, John, what the hell's wrong with you?
They gave up. They knew they couldn't do it. My family figured out that they weren't going to change it a long time ago, so they don't. You know, their only concern really is for my safety.
Right.
So far, that's worked out pretty well. I've never gotten hurt doing an Iron Butt ride. I think the most important thing is knowing when you need to stop and sleep, and you can't fight that for too long, because if you stop and sleep, okay, you may not finish the ride in your desired time or whatever, but if you fall asleep on the motorcycle, you may not get that chance. You know, it's pretty. I think that's probably the most dangerous thing is fighting. You know, making sure you don't fight fatigue. The thing you got to be most wary of.
Right.
Safety is always the first consideration. As I said, you may not get the chance if you're not safe. And got to know when to dial it back and when to take a break.
How old were you when you made the ride?
49.
You're...
I still got a couple good years left, and we'll see. There's a couple other rides I'm interested in. We'll see what happens in the next few years.
What's your next bucket list event?
I'd like to ride from Prudhoe Bay to Tierra del Fuego, the southern tip of South America. A friend of mine holds the record for that, and wanted me to break it because there were other people trying to break that, and they weren't doing it with the proper integrity. Essentially, well, to put it indelicately, they were basically cheating. You get a flat tire, you can't stop the clock, things like that. But my friend that was going to help me do it was killed in a motorcycle crash in the summer of 2010. And, so we'll see if the opportunity ever comes up. I'd like to do it, but in the meantime, if Dick Fish was his name, if he holds that record forever, I can live with that.
That'd be all right. What do you say when people, and obviously we ride, what do you say when you lose a good friend on a bike and they say, is that a sign that maybe you should stop riding, that you should quit?
No, never. It's just a reminder that we've always got to be careful out there. Things just aren't predictable enough. You never know when it could be. It could be your last ride. You take all the precautions to make sure that it isn't, and enjoy it. You know, would somebody like Dick, would he want his friends to quit riding because he got killed? I doubt it. Who knows? To speculate what happens. You know, what was going through their mind at the time. But he was a consummate expert, a professional. Not professional, but for lack of a better word. Very experienced million-mile rider, international 6 days enduro guy. So it doesn't matter how good you are. There are too many variables out there, and what we can do is try to minimize them. But giving up riding is not doesn't seem like a feasible option, I think, for me or anybody who truly loves to ride.
Sure, not a logical option, is it? Maybe an emotional one, but not logical.
People who don't ride, who don't understand it, it may seem like a good choice, but it's a big part of my life.
What do you do for a living?
I just work odd jobs to support my habit. I work as a bouncer in New York City. I do some motorcycle courier work for friends who are ticket brokers. I do a little bit of painting, odd jobs, heavy lifting, things like that.
Right.
And whatever it takes to support my habit. I get a lot of help from friends and people in the IBA who give me sponsorship money, Yamaha, and that sort of helped also. But when I did that ride from Prudhoe Bay to Key West, people sent money from all over the country. It was amazing. Even Switzerland and Argentina, as far away as that. It was a remarkable thing, and it's a record I think belongs to a lot of people, not just me, because it really was a community effort. All I did was sit on the bike, and that's the easy part. We all like it.
Yeah. Now, did you ship the bike to Prudhoe? Did you ride it up there?
I rode it up there.
How long of a rest did you take after you rode before you started? What was the turnaround from when you got there until you turned back around?
Well, I had a couple of false starts because I had some flat tires on the Alaskan Highway. By the time I finally got up to Pluto and got started, I think I stayed about a day and a half, about 36 hours. Make sure I ate as much as I could, bulked up a little bit because I knew I wouldn't be eating much for the next few days once I got started. And
Excellent.
seemed to be going pretty well.
Well, excellent. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and ride safe back home, John.
Thank you very much.
All right.